I need some time to feel free and enjoy.
Yo guys, what's going on and welcome back to the channel. Today I've got a very interesting video for you and for your viewing entertainment. In terms of what I have to bring is where I believe the league is heading in terms of final standings, who will win the league, who will get Champions League, who will get Europa League, who will get top 10, top 15, escaping relegation, and obviously who will eventually fall into the trapdoor and obviously go back down to the championship. But without further ado, obviously I don't want to keep these kind of intros long and drawn out. Let's jump straight into the video. As you can see, I've got the Premier League teams all in the section kind of below, ready to be put into categories. And starting with league winners, I mean, it's quite honestly the easiest solution, or I'd say solution, it's the easiest choice to make, because I don't think Liverpool are ever going to be caught. Even though they are mathematically catchable, I don't think they're going to be caught, because I think in terms of City, and the trailing pack, they've just been too inconsistent in terms of gaining a head of steam, or getting on and kind of getting on a run. So yeah, with that, with that being said, Liverpool go straight into, when it wants to. Yeah, there we go. Liverpool go straight into league winners, or league winners. But and I don't think, to be quite honest, as much as we might hate it, whatever, and if you know a Liverpool fan, it's going to be hell when they eventually do win the league. And I think if the Premier League does return at all, it was meant to be returning, I believe, in about a month's time, April 30th. That would have been a nice birthday present. Obviously, being my birthday is 13 days before the 17th. So obviously, if you want to wish me a happy birthday nearer the time, as videos come out nearer the time, you can go ahead and do so. Follow my socials down below as well. So if you want to be more personal, drop me a DM, whatever, comment on a video, comment on a post or whatever. But yeah, Champions League this year is in terms of being interesting, it's very interesting, because obviously Liverpool streaks ahead of everyone, and being, in terms of, just so hard to beat and so well drilled and so kind of just playing abnormally good football. It's been, obviously they have been compared to the Invincibles. Yes, obviously Liverpool, they're a good side, but they're not the Invincibles. Let's be honest. Come on, guys. But Champions League this year, in terms of the teams that there could be possibly 5 teams that are in the Champions League, in terms of, well, say 5 teams, but in terms of City's ban, it that makes it really, really interesting, because obviously, from an Arsenal point of view, do I expect Arsenal to be able to mount a challenge in terms of pushing late for Champions League? It would be the biggest steal if we can, and somehow rattle off a kind of get on ahead of steam and rattle off a few wins at the back end of the season. Do I expect it to happen? Probably not. Do I want it to happen? Well, obviously, that's goes without saying. But the teams that I am going to pick for this section, or this category, whatever you want to call it, are as follows: Chelsea getting the first, because I believe Lampard's been and just got them playing amazing. He's gone with youth, but also the team that he inherited had an amazing abundance of experience. And obviously, the youth players that are coming have just added to that, and added to Frank's credentials as a world-class manager, in terms of the formations and how he makes them so hard to beat. I think they're in the Champions League without a doubt. I think following them swiftly will be Manchester United. I think very much the same sort of scenario. Inexperienced manager, and obviously got the team playing really, really well. Inherited a very, very good side, and added respectively to maybe weak positions and whatnot. I think those two so far, or those 3, in terms of obviously Liverpool winning the league, that's a fair result, or a fair shout as such, a fair result reflection, or fair reflection upon the league table and form. Obviously, going with the three teams that I have picked. The fourth team, or fourth team as it were, including Liverpool, would be Leicester. I think Leicester are going to get Champions League. I think, without using the same theme in terms of being hard to beat, inheriting a really good side and adding and making that the side that you've got really really strong in terms of hard to beat, and they play counter attacking football like no other, and they're just a well oiled machine in terms of being defensive when needed, attacking when needed, and they're a joy to watch. I'm not gonna lie, they're a joy to watch at times, Leicester. So, along with the teams that I have picked, I think that's again a fair reflection. This is where I think it could get interesting in terms of obviously who gets the kind of fourth or the final, as it were, position in terms of Champions League. I'm going to go with Arsenal. I know I did say I don't really think that they will. That's just based upon form this season so far. They've not been consistent enough. Not be, just like we've not been consistent enough, and we haven't been able to string a run of performances together where you start thinking, yes, we are going to get Champions League. We all want it, of course we do. We all want it, but you don't always get what you want in terms of life, and that's, I have to obviously put City in there because obviously they will finish categorically second, but when all said and done, who knows what's going to happen in terms of their Champions League ban and whatever. I'm not sure what the latest is, so if you do know what the latest is, leave it down in the comments as well, and obviously join the conversation down below. The teams that get Europa League is relatively easy. I think Wolves are going to be in the Europa League again this year. I think they're a very, very good side. Really enjoy watching them play. I think, Nuno Espirito Santo linked with the Arsenal job. Wouldn't have been mad if he got it personally, but obviously I'm very, very happy with Arteta getting the job and obviously being the man to take us forward. With Wolves, they're a very hard side to beat, and I think they've shown this year in the Europa League that they take no prisoners. They are a good side and pushing to be a great side. Who knows? Next year could be their year. When this season finishes, who knows if they strengthen in the right areas and don't lose key personnel, key players, then that could be really telling in terms of their kind of progression and obviously how they progress as a team. Going with, perhaps controversially, because of the season they've had so far, following that with Sheffield United, I think it will be icing on the cake, as they would probably put the Blades in the Europa League. I think not many players, not many teams as such, not many players, but the players will probably want to go to play for Sheffield United in terms of their personnel that they could look to attract should they get Champions League or Europa League, because it still remains to be seen. They are there and thereabouts. I believe, and I have always believed, that they would kind of trail away and they will fall. But I think the teams that are in the top six and within shouts of Europe and within shouts of Champions League, albeit the same thing, just not as much money. I think that's a fair reflection upon the season so far, that those teams that I've picked, those teams are all going to be in the mix. There's going to be obviously a situation where whatever we find out with City, should Arsenal get there, or maybe one of the other two, Wolves, maybe make a late push, who knows. But the top 10 teams roughly where I expect, obviously, I think Spurs will obviously get in the Champions League in terms of, kind of filling out that. Obviously, one of these teams in the Champions League will drop into there as well. So whichever one that is, I believe I've got to leave that as it is. But I think it could be maybe Leicester dropping out into the Europa League. Obviously, it probably, to be honest, it will probably be Arsenal in the Europa League. But if City's ban is kind of put in place, I believe Arsenal have got all what it takes to get into the Champions League should they get the momentum with them. But top 10 teams, kind of, I think Everton will be in the top 10. I think that's a fair shout, because I think generally they're not they're safe from relegation and safe from obviously even like top 15 as such. And obviously they're going to be escaping relegation in terms of like where they are in the league. Burnley again, another team very much well oiled, very much well drilled, and under Sean Dyche, I think they're a good side in terms of obviously the reflection upon the season so far that it shows obviously where they are in the league. The remaining teams that obviously you see on the screen right now, this is where it kind of gets a little bit interesting. Bearing in mind this is all my personal opinion, where what I would like to see in terms of obviously the remaining 9 teams, I believe. 3, 6, yeah, remaining 9 teams. I'd love to see obviously Aston Villa sort of get maybe top 15. I believe top 15, top 10 will be probably out of their reach in terms of the season and how many games and whatnot, how many points are up for grabs. Again, following that with Newcastle, I'd love to see Newcastle stay up, perhaps avoid relegation and not top 15. I think top 15 for them this season just might be a little bit too far, a little bit too much to ask. Teams that I'd want to see relegated, I'd never really want to see anyone relegated, but obviously it has to happen. Norwich all but look confirmed. The rest of the teams, I'm just going to kind of put in as and where I expect. Palace top 15, Watford escaping relegation. I don't know. Torn between Bournemouth going down and escaping. I think they're going to be there. I think Brighton probably will go, and I reckon it's going to actually, that, and then yeah. So like that's it kind of came to a head right at the end, but obviously that's how I see the season ending. Drink it in, take it, make it of it what you will. That's how I see it. Talk to you guys in a bit. I love you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like, subscribe, and boys out here.